Hi guys, it's Layla here, former WWE Diva, and you are watching Broad Shoulders.
For the sake of a story that stays untold. Broad shoulders, crowded from the light.
And today on the podcast, when you think of the Divas era in WWE, who do you think of? Well, I think of our next guest, this person I am so excited to speak with. I'm talking about Layla. This is a great episode. We talked about a lot of different aspects of her life, her career as an entertainer, as a dancer, as a professional wrestler. And I think you guys are going to like what she has to say. A lot of little tidbits, a lot of pieces of wisdom she's able to impart, having had her 9-year career with the WWE Divas Champion. Obviously, a big time face of the company during the Divas era. So, without further ado, this is Layla. So, you've had such an interesting, career, honestly. Even before your career even started, working as a dancer, looking at that part of your career, and then obviously, how the dancing has translated to the wrestling components of stuff. Have you seen, sort of an overlap in terms of just as a performer, the dancing aspects of performing in front of a crowd to, and the choreography, all the stuff that goes into that, to wrestling? People say like wrestling's a dance. You need a dance partner. Have you seen an overlap between the two? And if so, like what things made it, sort of easier for you maybe than most?
Um, when I first, of course, joined WWE, I didn't know how to wrestle. There was no training for me because I won the Diva Search. So I had no clue what I was going into. I'll be honest, I absolutely had no clue, no like way to, like you said, use something in my past to maybe enhance and help me. And I sat down with Tommy Dreamer, and he was helping Kelly and I put a match together. And he was the first one that said to me, it's like dancing. You gotta dance with your partner. Dance, just dance, okay? You go, she goes, you move. Like you also like guess, anticipate what they're gonna do next and stuff like that. And that was the first time that I kind of like got an inkling.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. And I've only had like I had one match prior to that, one match, and it was awful. That's why they put me in extreme expose because I could dance. So
Right.
at first, until like I think, yeah, I believe Tommy was the first one that said that to me. It did because then I was like, oh my God, I can totally understand that.
Hmm.
Like that to me is just like, okay, so she goes 5 steps, I go 1 step. You know what I mean? If she goes this way, then I
Yes.
gotta go this way. But if she goes that way, so it was, and the way you explained it is exactly how it started off for me, being able to kind of train and how to train in the wrestling in WWE where you're hurting somebody, but you're not hurting somebody. When I came to wrestling, after the Diva Search, because there really wasn't much wrestling, and then it became you're going basically into a storyline. It was against Crystal Marshall. That was my first time ever wrestling, and you got to remember, I hadn't even taken a bump.
Yeah. Which is a big deal too. I mean, people tell, non-wrestlers, non-perform sports entertainers, like it looks one way on TV, but until you're actually experiencing it like yourself, it hurts a lot more. You're going to get bruised up a lot more than you think you might otherwise. Was that sort of tough to come to terms with right after you did win, the Diva Search?
Yeah, yes, it was. I didn't
Mm.
understand. Like I say it again, I had no clue what I got myself into. I was very fortunate. I just won a lot of money and a contract, and I was going to be on TV.
Yeah.
It's everything I ever dreamt of, And but once I got backstage and then seeing what the girls had to do and seeing what the guys had to do, and someone, I think it was like Jillian was like, "Have you ever taken a? Have you ever? Do you know how to lock up?" And I was like, so at the same time, you don't want to
Right.
like seem so inadequate because in that day they wanted you to be there and want to be a wrestler.
Mm.
So I came in with an opportunity that wasn't my goal or my dream,
Mm. Mm.
but I had to learn how to wrestle on live TV, which thank God my dancing helped me that I could go in transit and kind of like train until I
Absolutely.
was kind of okay.
Yeah, there's so much about your story that's so fascinating to me too, especially just, you know, I mean, it's marking like 20 years since you, or it's, almost 20 years since, you won the Diva Search too. Who had told you originally? Was it Todd? I think you mentioned something about Todd Grisham's wife, maybe recommended that you went for the Diva Search, or was it like somebody else?
It's a combination. MySpace, so long ago. Um, Grisham's wife, and it was Alison, sent me an email saying, "Hey, there's an opportunity." And I looked at it. I responded once, and I responded, I think, another time, and she
Mm,
just kept going.
yeah,
So with her, basically her persistence, I woke up. I was like, I'm gonna go. I was an hour. I was living in Miami. And it was like during hurricane season, and there was a traffic was like I was an hour and a half late, basically to the audition. And the
yes,
lady Jane Livingston waiting for me. She's like, oh wait. She waited and she went in there. The
wow.
audition was 5 minutes. Her and I are still friends to this day.
It was something that almost wasn't, like you almost didn't even, on the day of, you almost were like, I'm not really feeling about it, kind of iffy, whatever. I think I really want to know because obviously that decision to decide to go like changed your life. And could you even imagine if you were like, nah, I just want to stay inside. It's rainy outside, or it's not, the weather's not nice. I want to like just watch TV, whatever. But I think to that end, I think it speaks to it's a greater it speaks to a greater lesson taught and learned in life, and just message in life is you got to go for things sometimes, and you don't know how it's going to go, but sometimes you got to take that chance. You honestly do, and look at what it's turned into for yourself, right? I mean, that's I think another thing too, just also just like after doing that, and then I'm curious. I'm just curious, what went into your mindset that day, and 28 or 29-year-old Layla, why you decided to go that day.
I remembered like it was just right now. I was literally laying in bed. The TV was in front of me. And I was like, oh, it's horrible weather. And I was just sitting there. And then my gut just said, get up, go to the computer, find out about the sources and just do it. So I feel like it was more of a spiritual thing or an instinct or a gut thing. Sometimes you get something that just won't stop, but it just feels like
Mm,
now. So for me, it just something told me now, which I still do now. I follow my gut on most decisions I try to make because I feel like when I've done that, it's never led me wrong. So that was really,
yeah,
I think, like it was meant to be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That
for
was just
sure.
something that was meant to be and laid out for me.
Like you said, you didn't really have too much of a professional wrestling background, right? You're coming from the dancing scene, but nonetheless, you're still a performer, right? And so this is maybe the next part of what I want to get into is, um, I think at the end of the day, regardless of what the art form is, you're telling a story. Like same thing is dancing, you're telling a story with your body, so it's like I'm curious, like what are the components of storytelling within WWE during your time there that you were most excited about, maybe like some storylines in particular that you really enjoyed. What was the best part? Was it choreographing some of the dance scenes, like in your early time, with Extreme Expose, or did you actually enjoy wrestling, like when you like even like layout and like facelift, like your moves and stuff, like was that something that like excited you? And if so, like, I mean, what was like, yeah, what stood out for you from your time with
Um,
WWE?
well, I enjoyed every single, I say transition, every single one. Expose was nice, but it was a lot of work on me because I was like, basically doing you know, everything. I am a little bit of a control freak. So
Hmm.
that was great. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy once the crowd started reacting to us, and it was nice because we were terrible. We were terrible for the first couple of times, and then wrestling. Like I remember thinking when I had to start wrestling, I remember like sometimes going, I hate this. Like I used to, I just don't get it. I hate this. And I'm in the ring. And that was the moment when I was in the ring with Michelle McCool, Beth Phoenix, Melina, Mickey James. It was the best thing that happened to me for my wrestling career wise, because then I was like paying attention, having to learn. And then also Fit Finley, the savior. I'm telling you, like Fit Finley trained me. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
And he trained all the girls, but I mean, he literally like started with me from then, to build it up. So yeah, it's great. Then it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get my use a finisher move.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
sure.
I did it, and every match when someone like cheered or something, they acknowledged me. Like they're not. that any kind of reaction was better than no reaction.
Yes.
And when I won the women's championship, and no, nobody, even me, didn't think I was going to get that. I thought it was a joke. I thought Fit was playing a joke on me. There was no reaction. But you know why? That was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
As a
Because
heel, I
then,
bet. Yeah.
well, I've got nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
Where can I go
sure.
from that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
I
those were
totally what
great
you're saying.
moments and totally building myself up and working up to working against to working next to Michelle McCool. I mean, what more could I ask for from the Diva Search winner?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's funny too because you talk about winning the Divas Championship. Like, I want to know what this is another big thing I want to touch on too. So obviously you win, Diva Search 2006, and I think it's important to mention too. Like, you've obviously had a lot of success in your career. I do think gaining confidence as a result of winning, like winning in life, in things, I think winning is important. It's important to know the feeling of winning. I do. I think just as a competitor, as an artist, as an entertainer, I think it is. And for you, though, obviously, having already completed that and won that and have your opportunity doing that and then now in the company and then having them say to you, this is the direction we're going in, we're putting all our chips in the middle of the table, we believe in you. What was that, because that's a lot of responsibility. Obviously you were like one of the faces of the company, during that period, during the Divas era. So what was your modus operandi, in terms of like, like just at that time, being in your career for only so many years, but having them believe in you. What was that like? Just sort of having, like, obviously hold the weight of the company on your shoulders a little bit.
The way you say it, which is actual facts,
Yeah.
it didn't really impact me like that at that time. That's how like it really. I can't explain it. Like
Yeah.
I was naive. I don't know. I was still taking everything in. But I was extremely happy. I was excited. I was shocked. I was nervous. At the same time, I'm like, is
Yeah.
someone playing a joke on me? Like, are they gonna take it? Like, you know what I mean? But I now I'm not there. I see, oh my God, like the stamp of approval and
Mm.
just the recognition and the fact that they trusted me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't really understand it and comprehend it. I just did my job the best I could, went in, gave as much as I could, and just took it day by day because I was still learning day by day, you know?
I want to know too. I mean, it's funny because when you were working with Michelle, you'd said somewhere, that was the highlight of your career, actually, working with her. What was it like, I guess working as a solo competitor, solo performer, and then having this, I guess you could say, dance partner, right, in Michelle, as part of your guys' tag team, and just being able to work with her, that dynamic. You guys had such good chemistry. You even said, it was that also is an opportunity that might not have happened. You guys, that slot for that tag team maybe could have been like Alicia Fox and somebody else, but then they decided, what, you guys have pretty good chemistry. Let's make it work. And then it ended up being like a legendary, tag team within that era. So what was it like working with Michelle? And then obviously, what was it like being able to play off just another, entertainer, that really obviously jived well with you?
For one, working with Joe was like amazing. It was such a great experience for me. And when I look back, I'm like so grateful for her because Michelle and I have total different personalities. So in real life. So if you like, I can't explain, we just have
Yin
totally
and
different
yang.
personalities
Yeah,
in life. So yeah, you know what I mean? But we gelled, we connected, we worked together, and I respect her so much for having so much patience with me. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
sometimes I wasn't always I sometimes take a little bit longer to get something done, something like that. So she was great. She basically taught me how to, make sure you write storylines in, how you keep your head down, work hard, just keep going at it. She would talk to me like outside the ring. She would even tell me like in the ring we're doing things. But not only that, it was a friendship too.
Mm.
So we were together. It was a friendship. It was so nice to like have somebody in the Divas division at that time where you didn't have to compete.
Yeah,
This is my partner, so it feels
yeah,
nice. It feels strong because when we were in that diva era, there was just too many competitions. You're friends, but you're not
Yeah.
friends. But you know what I mean? Like if you really look back, but for me, it was the highlight of my career. I had the most fun. We got to do the most adventurous stuff. I feel as the divas, we were the first, I think, divas that actually got the audience to actually care about our storylines. They started booing us. It was during the whole
Yeah.
Mickey James storyline, but it did. It got everybody in. Everyone finally either loved us or hated us, and we were able to continue that for nearly 2.5 years. And I think if Michelle hadn't have retired, I do think we still could have had a little bit more time with Lay Cool. But
Absolutely.
just, I mean, that's just like you said, waking up in that bed, moving here from England, like how did this? That
Yeah.
I'm just grateful,
What
thankful, grateful. Look back and just want to laugh at it, the good parts and the bad parts, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, does it teach you anything like from just, being like a young, and again, I know you weren't like crazy, crazy young, but just like being like a young, like, person getting into the space that you obviously didn't have too much experience in, but you took a chance, you went for it. What does it say? I mean, what could you say to other people? Anybody who's watching this who's not even maybe in, sports entertainment, who's just an artist or whatever, taking a chance. If you believe in yourself, you'll be able to make some good things come out of it.
100%. I do believe that if you believe yourself and you do take chance, risk 100%. First thing I would say though is don't kid yourself though. If you know that you're not athletic enough or you don't have the build or you can't fulfill any kind of role in the sports entertainment industry,
You got to be
you got to
pragmatic. Yeah.
know no. You know what I
You got to
mean?
be pragmatic.
But
Yeah.
you got to be honest, Phil. But if you know you're capable, go for it. What have you got to lose? You got to do is train. Make sure you learn the politics backstage. That's what I would tell anybody. You just go for it. You got nothing to lose at the end of the day. And then if one door closes, I do believe another door will open for you.
I want to know, like behind the scenes, as much as you can say, however many years removed. But like, what went in each of the weeks. Everything looks so seamless when you're watching as a fan, and little do you know, like there's hours and hours of preparation that you guys do. People are like, oh well, they only work a few times a week, so they can make it work, and they're trying. Like, no, no, no. Like you guys are working full 5 day weeks. Like there's no days off. Unless I mean, the weekends, but like even then there's pay-per-views and stuff, so there's always stuff. But what went in behind the scenes, into making like the matches happen, any of the promos, the rehearsing, all of that?
Well, when I first got there, there used to be a lot more rehearsals. So
Mm,
you would see like rehearsals, let's say like 1 o'clock or something like that, maybe
mm,
2 o'clock.
mm.
And but it would be about the storylines I think that they actually cared about. Like that's just the honest truth. If they didn't care about you, I don't think you really had a rehearsal time and everything. And Vince used to be there right there on the curtain, and he would run, the rehearsals or whatever, whether it was a pay-per-view, SmackDown, whatever it was, if it was something that, he felt needed to be rehearsed. There was always pre-tapes, pre-recordings that we would do
Sure.
together. So sometimes you would get there, okay, you have a pre-tape,
Like a
this will be
backstage
recorded
promo.
before,
Yeah,
yeah, backstage promo or walk in or something like that.
that's awesome.
That used to be done, and then with the schedule, I think as it went on and on and on, it got to the point where it was like some people, didn't even need rehearsals. It was just, okay, we know we're going to do all of that. And then I think before like I was leaving, maybe 2 years, I think it got to the point where the show would be written 3 times. So by
Wow.
Raw, we're still waiting around like, are we on the show? What's the storyline?
Yeah,
And I feel like I saw some people in that moment, that time, um, would be going out of Gorilla, and they were like, what? Okay, so what we going with? And then sometimes they'd have it just called in while they're in the ring, stuff like that. But
absolutely.
that was quite a while ago. I don't remember like why it was like that, to be honest with you, but I do remember that specifically happening. And we used to travel all the time. We never had really much. I never had a weekend off. I don't think. I don't think I've ever had a weekend off. Maybe we get Christmas. We get 2 days, and we're off the day after Christmas Day, which would be Boxing Day. We're straight back to travel. So
Oh my
in those
god.
days, it needs to be 16 days if it was like an international tour for Europe. Like, so I've heard that the schedule has died down a lot, but we used to be, I mean, I used to live on airplanes, airports, and then gyms, and then get to work and stuff like that. I look back and I'm like, how How did I do it? I was with Ariane and Andrew just the other day, and we were looking at each other. We were in Vegas, and we were just like, I used to ride with you. How did we do this? Like,
Yeah.
how did we used to do it? Like, it's crazy. But I think when you're young and you're hungry and you're enjoying the limelight too, I think you can just do whatever you want. You can make it happen, you know?
Yeah,
Not so
absolutely.
much now. Not gonna lie.
Well, but I mean, no, but to that point too. I mean, what do you think? All things considered, if you told yourself, your 20-something-year-old self when you're laying in that bed or whatever, when you're at your desk looking at the computer, um, you know, what would come of that opportunity? Just you deciding, what, let me go for this. Would she believe it? Would she believe what would come out of it? Do you think, or do you think she'd be pretty taken aback by it?
No, I'm telling you, pretty taken back. I mean, I was very driven. I knew that I wanted to be in entertainment. Like I left home when I was like 18 years old. Like, so I've been alone and up to another country too. And I've just, when I look back at my life, I'm in shock,
Mm.
and awe of it. I mean, there's of course stuff I wish I regret, stuff I wish I could take back, but all of it was just an experience, and I just have to, look at it and reflect and say, wow, not bad for a young girl from London, right?
I just want to know too. Obviously, we talk about just being an entertainer, and you've had so much, that you've been doing throughout your entire career. Do you? I mean, like, do you still pay attention to to what's going on in WWE now, or any of the promotions, or any of that's like here and there, kind of, or
I did a while ago. I liked when AEW first came out and all that stuff. Like I used to watch it. So excuse me, like I
mm.
started watching it a little bit, and then I think the last time I watched AEW has been 2025. I can't remember why. And I thought Tony
Oh, okay,
Storm, like when she came, like
yeah,
I was like, wow, like you know what I mean,
sure,
like she's, so I
absolutely,
watched and stuff like that, and then with WWE, I always like watching just before WrestleMania. So as soon as the Rumble and all that's coming up, I'm ready to go. I'm just excited and stuff like
yeah.
that and watch it. This year I have not, and it's really it went this year already. This year I had, but so I kind of missed this year, but I normally watch around that time. I think that's the fun part.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, I don't know if you could compare, the Divas era to, the current just women's division right now in terms of everything, but so different, like over the moon how many differences there are. But I don't know. I mean, are there things that you kind of that you look back on, during your time like with the WWE that you're like, this is cool that we did this now, but like right now is a really good time for wrestling, like
Like I said, I could say, of course, I could say that. That's so easy. That would be great
yeah,
because then I might be you know what I mean, a huge star, or you know what I mean, taken
yeah, for
more
sure.
seriously than the divas were taken, and
You're
but no,
totally right.
yeah, no, I won't. I don't. For me, I wouldn't change it. I love what I love what I love what I had, the opportunities that I had. I felt
Mm,
like I broke any barriers that I was told I couldn't at that time, or that what was gifted to me. I was it with Michelle McCool and Lay Cool, like. I mean, it, that was so great for that time and that era. So for me, no, I'm glad that I can say I'm a diva. I came in from the Diva Search, being nothing related to wrestling, but still was able to say, stand my ground, had a great time. And now it's time for the women. Now the women are doing it. They're killing it. They're absolutely
mm,
killing it. And I'm happy to see that. I'm really, really happy to see that for them. And then what's coming next? I mean, if you've got the women at this level right now, well, what's coming next?
mm.
That's what
Yeah,
so
the
no, I'm
future.
excited for them. I'm very excited for them. I'm glad I was a part of the Diva era. I will always be grateful for that, no matter what.
I love that. Now we're gonna do something quick, fun. I just, I had to like refresh my memory too because this was so long
Okay.
ago. But there was a battle royale with, I think it was Eve and Caitlyn at the end, and Caitlyn got taken up over. It was a botch, bad botch, and in 4K or whatever in HD we see your face and your completely honest reaction to,
I
obviously this
know.
not happening on purpose, but um I guess if you could go back to that point, what were you thinking in that moment?
Oh my God, when I watch that now, honestly, that was an honest reaction. I didn't even know I was reacting. That was literally honest because remember I told you we had points where we would go out there to the ring sometimes, remember? And we wouldn't know what if that storyline was that or if it was going the other way, stuff like that. So at that moment, I knew that Eve was supposed to be Eve and I going forward for a storyline. So when that happened, I didn't. I'm honestly, I was just like enjoying the match.
Yeah.
I could not. I forgot that
Business
the
as
cameras were
usual.
even on
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I don't know. And at that moment, I was like, "Is this a mistake?" Or I'm like, "Is this a joke?" Like afterwards, I'm like, "What's going on?" Like because somebody was supposed to come up and shake my hand. That's all I remember.
Mm.
So I'm like, no one's coming up to shake my hand. Well, I don't even know what happened. What did transpire afterwards? Did we just go off air? But and I feel bad because at that moment, I actually didn't handle that situation very well. I did not. You
Why?
know what I mean?
Why do you think?
Because I don't know. At that time, I feel like we were going towards a storyline with Eve, and I was looking
Mm.
forward to having that kind of storyline. And then when that happened, stuff happened backstage, stuff like that, and then I just wasn't happy about it. And now I look back at it, and I'm like, so silly. You know what I mean? And in a way, that opened up the door for Caitlyn. So
Mm.
it was
You're
that was meant
totally
to be
right.
for her. That was her path. Nothing was going to stop it. That was meant to be for her. But when I look back, though, that day I really was. I was really blown away. Like I was shocked, or I was like, "Is this on purpose?"
Yeah.
There are
And
many factors to it.
what happened behind the scenes after that?
Well, nothing. I don't want nothing terrible. It was
Okay.
just we were just told it would be fixed. That was all.
Okay.
It will be fixed.
That's
That was it.
good.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep.
No, it's okay. But like, at least you have people in that, and it's such a premier promotion that like, listen, we can't fix the past. The past is what it is. So let's work with what we got and let's make it move. Let's make it go forward. So,
Absolutely.
just such a pleasure. I'm so happy that we were able to do this, and thank you very much again. This is
Thank you,
awesome.
hon. You take care of yourself. Nice meeting
Thanks.
you.
You too,
Bye.
Layla. Cheers. Bye. How about that, Layla? Thank you guys for tuning in and for continuing to tune in. Just, I think if you're a young person listening right now, I really think you might be able to take away some things from what she had to say, especially being the fish out of water as she was, being a dancer. She didn't know that she would end up in sports entertainment. She really didn't know. And so when the opportunity came knocking on her door, she opened it and she took it. And look at where she is now. So very grateful to have had her on. Thanks again for watching and peace out.
Broad